So as you probably know, there's a lot of DLC in Shinobi Striker nowadays. To be more precise, there's 38 DLC characters by now, but let's be honest, not all of them are equally good. So today I figured it would be interesting to show you who I believe to be the best DLC character for every single class in the game. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Alright, let's talk about which DLC I believe to be the best for attack types, that being Naruto Baryon mode. This is one of the few DLCs out there that in my opinion only provide good jutsu. Not only that, you also get a free substitution jutsu, which is always a plus, even though this sub isn't really the best. The substitution, Baryon Breakthrough, makes you charge your opponent after substituting away, dealing around 10% of damage while also reducing their secret technique gauge for the same amount. This sub is sort of high risk, high reward, as you can obviously use it to finish off your opponent if they are low on health. On the other hand, you cannot really rely on this sub to get out of a losing battle, as you're always gonna charge in, which if you're fighting against multiple people just leaves you vulnerable. To add onto this, it has a 40-second cooldown, which is just way too much for a sub in my opinion. But as I said, it's an additional free jutsu you get with the DLC, so even though it's not the best, it's better than nothing. Baryon mode's Naruto's main jutsu is where he really starts to shine as a DLC. His first jutsu is Baryon Bullet Barrage, which makes you charge your opponent, smashing them with a flurry of punches. And wait, I feel like I've seen this somewhere before. Yeah, not gonna lie, I kind of love this jutsu. Not only does it deal a huge amount of damage, it also reduces the opponent's secret technique gauge by 1% for each landed punch. On top of that, it gives you super armor from the moment you start using it, meaning that it's sort of like this inevitable attack that your enemy is gonna get pummeled by even if they're already attacking you. It has great tracking and decent range for a close range attack, and I just don't think you can really go wrong with this jutsu. His second one is Baryon Tailbreaker, which for the next 10 seconds gives you these tails made out of Baryon chakra that will automatically attack any enemies in range. This jutsu is in my opinion a great mix between offense and defense, as not only can you use it to stop enemies from getting to you, but it can also be utilized as a great weapon when engaging someone. The only downside to this jutsu is the fact that it can be pretty easily disabled, as you cannot use chakra jumps or ninja tools while in this form, and it can also get cancelled if you get hit while activating it, so you do have to keep that in mind. Finally, Naruto's ultimate is Baryon mode itself, which shrouds you in the Baryon chakra cloak, completely regenerating your health while also giving you a huge speed attack boost. Alongside of that, it also gives you access to 2 new jutsu for the duration of the ultimate. The duration of the ultimate itself is indicated by your health, which slowly gets drained while in this mode. The 2 new jutsu are very similar to one another. The first one is a simple teleportation jutsu, while the second one is also kind of a teleportation jutsu, but it also comes with a kick to the targeted opponent. Finally, an additional input has you attack with an expanding Rasengan, dealing massive damage that instantly kills both heal and range types. This in my opinion is by far the best transformation ultimate in the game for attack types. The boost it gives you is massive, and the form itself has just so many use cases. Not only can it allow you to kill multiple enemies, but you can easily capture the flag with it. It's just amazing in my opinion, and that goes for the whole DLC. If you would only want to buy one DLC, then I genuinely think this is one of the best ones you can go for, at least in comparison to the other attack types out there. Let's move on to range types, and this is where I believe the choice for the best DLC is the easiest, that being Boruto Karma Progression. This DLC offers some of the most overpowered jutsu range types have in their arsenal, and honestly, just playing as this version of Boruto is a pretty meta-friendly build in general. His first jutsu is Flash Slice, which makes you charge the enemy and upon impact teleport above and behind them, slashing them with your kunai and making them bounce off the floor. This jutsu is incredibly useful. Not only is it really fast and deals actually really good damage for a range type, it also gives you a massive opportunity to continue your combo since the enemy is wide open after they bounce off the ground. The only slight downside to it is the range, which isn't huge, but make no mistake, it's definitely not a problem to land this jutsu at all. The second jutsu in Boruto's arsenal is Vanishing Rasengan Full Moon, which creates a Rasengan in your right hand which keeps getting bigger for as long as you hold down the jutsu button, up until it reaches its final stage. After you release the button, the Rasengan will fly out in the direction of the opponent, dealing damage to them upon impact. This is another incredibly versatile jutsu, since you can either choose to use it immediately without charging it to deal quick but still good damage, or hold it and inflict huge amounts of damage to the enemy. Not only that, while you charge it you have super armor, meaning that apart from a few jutsu that counter this, you cannot be interrupted from charging this. To add on to all of this, at its fully charged state, this jutsu counters both Sand Shield and Water Pillar, making it incredibly useful in base battle. Finally, Boruto's ultimate is Karma Awakening, which makes you activate your Karma Seal, giving you a massive, and I mean really massive boost in both attack power and speed for the next 15 seconds. Alongside with that, a second press of the ultimate jutsu button makes you follow up with a huge Karma Rasengan that covers a very wide area, dealing around 90% of damage to anyone caught in it. In my opinion, there's almost no argument to the fact that this is by far the best ultimate range types have, and probably the best transformation ultimate in the game. Both parts of this jutsu are honestly good on their own, but combined they are absolutely brutal. And it's not like it takes forever to charge up either. I even got it twice in one game while recording for this video, which is honestly pretty nuts in my opinion. With all of this being said, I honestly don't think any other range type currently holds a candle to this version of Boruto. He's just simply that good. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, choosing the best defense class DLC was where I struggled the most while making this video. You see, there's a lot of pretty decent defense types, but none of them really stand out among the rest like the other classes in my opinion. But after a bunch of deliberation, I decided to go for Ishii. Ishii is a character that maybe doesn't offer a single jutsu that is absolutely crazy, but he makes up for it by having 3 jutsu that are simply really good. Ishiki's first jutsu is Hidden Jutsu Sukuna Hikuna, which enters you into a state in which you're completely invulnerable to range attacks for the next 10 seconds, nullifying them as they approach you. On top of that, if you get hit by a close range attack, you teleport away using time-space hop and stay invulnerable to any damage for the next 8 seconds. Additionally, when somebody hits you with that close range attack, you can then create black routes that strike the enemy with an additional input. I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but Sukuna Hikuna is my favorite jutsu out of the ones that make you invulnerable. Obviously, something like Kamui is great because you're completely invincible while you're using it, but the thing is that you cannot attack while you're in that state, which isn't the case with Sukuna Hikuna, as you're free to go on the offensive when using the jutsu. His second jutsu is Karma, which makes you lunge at your opponent, and if you connect, you not only deal damage, but you also grab the enemy by the neck and place a Karma Seal on them. Then, upon second input, you will teleport behind the marked enemy, charging them with a dive kick, and if you manage to hit them, you'll not only deal further damage, but you will also get a speed buff. This in my opinion is one of the best damage dealing ninjutsu defense types have in their arsenal. Not only does it deal pretty good damage, it's also really easy to land, as both the speed of the jutsu and the travel distance are really decent for a close range attack. On top of that, the fact that it gives you a chance to teleport means that you gain access to a lot of really cool combos with the use of this jutsu. Finally, Ishiki's ultimate is Vast Dark Heavens, which makes you create 10 huge cubes that slowly fall out of the sky, not only damaging anyone that gets hit, but also removing their HUD from their screen, while slightly obscuring their vision. This is an absolutely amazing ultimate for teamfights, as whenever you're in a 4v4 scenario, you're basically guaranteed to win that encounter. Not only that, this jutsu is basically completely noob proof. It doesn't really require any great skill, you just have to press the button at the right time and that's it, you've just got 4 kills, well done. Overall, Ishii just kind of gives you everything you'd want from a defense type, whether it's utility, damage dealing, or crowd control, all in a single DLC. Alright, let's move on to the last remaining class in the game, the heal types. For this one, I've gone for maybe kind of an unpopular pick, that being Six Paths Madara. Now, I think most people would agree that this version of Madara is a great DLC, but I don't know how many people would say that he's the best, as there's a lot of other heal types in the game that could earn this spot. That being said, Six Paths Madara offers something that heal types were missing for a very long time in this game, which is good offensive jutsu. Even with the base game characters, you have access to some really good healing jutsu, but the same cannot be said for jutsu that actually deal damage. But that's what exactly Six Paths Madara is here for, so let's talk about those jutsu. His first jutsu, Sage Art Shadow Style Thunder Blast, first makes you hover in the air, charging up your attack, and after releasing the jutsu button, blasting your enemies with purple lightning, that not only deal damage to them but also stun them. This jutsu is amazing for team battles, and even better for something like base battle, where if you manage to hit multiple opponents, you give your team a massive advantage in the fight. The longer you charge the jutsu, the wider the area it covers gets, while also giving it other beneficial effects like lowering the enemy's defense. On top of that, you also get super armor while charging this attack, making it pretty hard to stop. Madara's second jutsu is Limbo, Border Jail, which summons 4 clones that are invisible to the enemy team. Additional input will send out the clones in the direction you're facing, or if you're outside of the perimeter of the clones, they will travel towards you. Whenever an enemy comes in contact with one of the clones, the entire pack will come barraging him, dealing a bunch of damage. This is another great offensive tool, but it has to be said it's a bit tricky to use this, as making sure the clones hit their target isn't always the easiest. That being said, you can simply stay in the perimeter of the clones once you've summoned them, at which point they will attack anyone that comes into that perimeter, allowing you to defend bases or flags much easier. Finally, his ultimate, Infinite Tsukuyomi, puts everyone on the map to sleep after 2 seconds since the activation. After another additional 5 seconds, any enemy that has not been interrupted from the sleep state will be affected by the second stage, which will trap them in the webbing of the God Tree, leaving them with 1 HP. This is one of the best ultimates in the game. The only downside is the fact that your allies can hit the enemy before you're able to activate the second part of this jutsu, meaning that they won't be affected by it anymore. So ideally you'd want a coordinated team for this, but I found that nowadays more and more players know how to react to this ultimate, so most of the time you'll get a good number of kills out of it. Overall, 6-pass Madara is very much an offensive heal type, but I feel like that's exactly what heal types need, so that's why I decided to choose him. And that's all the classes. I feel like apart from range types, there can definitely be room for different choices, but all of the characters I picked I would consider top tier. Anyway, if there's any character you think I missed, then let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, then make sure to leave a like or subscribe if you want to see more similar content. That's it for now. Bye!